Tonight on Citrus TV, a car crash at the university puts a biker in the hospital. Find out how bad the crash really was.
President Trump will give his first address to Congress tonight, what he wants to spend an extra $54 billion on.
And some big resignations today. Two major companies are having leaders leave over harassment and corruption charges. One facing a class action suit. All that and more right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Hi everybody and happy Mardi Gras. I'm Nick Papantonis.
And I'm Jackie Prager. And it's not only Mardi Gras, it's also another warm, beautiful day in Syracuse. But this warm weather comes at a price. Citrus TV's reporter Jenna Babak is live at New York State Fairgrounds with more.
That's like such an uncomfortable position for you. I'm sorry. I'm here live at the New York State Fairgrounds, and as you can see, there is no snow. It is completely melted due to warm temperatures. There were piles of snow, mountains of snow, for jumps, turns, and obstacles, all for the scheduled snowcross race that was supposed to take place at the New York State Fairgrounds over this coming weekend. But unfortunately, due to weather temperatures in the high 60s and low 70s, and including what could be the second warmest February that Syracuse, New York has ever had, all the snow has melted, and what would have been the first snowcross race that Syracuse, New York has ever held has been canceled. So as you can see, I'm the only one out here. There's no snow, no snowcross race, and I'm Jenna Babiak for Citrus TV News.
Ground completely bare behind her. I'm happy personally that we're getting those 50s and those 60s and last week that even those 70s. But a lot of winter people, especially out in some of the more rural counties where snowmobiling and cross-country skiing is a thing, I know they're not very happy about this.
They're not too happy, and hopefully some people can get out, and I know there might be some snow coming up in this forecast, but Gilad Milamed is here to give us that update.
Yeah, definitely not your typical February weather as we finish off the month. Take a look at the temperature departure map for the country. This is how far above average today's temperatures were. Here in the Midwest, look at that, 20 degrees above average, and basically the entire eastern half of the country is double digits above average. Here in Syracuse today, it was 54 degrees, and this is what you would consider April temperatures, especially with the low winds. So definitely very warm for February. How warm was this February though? Was it the warmest on record? And what can we expect heading into March? I'll tell you coming up in my full forecast.
And Syracuse police are investigating a shooting incident that occurred last night. Residents near South Townsend Street heard gunshots and called 911 around 4:45 p.m. Officers found a 20-year-old male and a 16-year-old male suffering from gunshot wounds. The victims were transported to Upstate University Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police are continuing their investigation. A biker is recovering after being hit by a car at the corner of Comstock and Euclid just before 7 p.m. last night. According to the driver, the dent in the windshield was caused by the rider's backpack. Both Syracuse police and DPS arrived on scene shortly after the accident. The rider was taken away in an ambulance and the car was towed.
The Syracuse stage announcing its shows for next year's season. There will be a series of 6 plays throughout the year. The chosen shows are The Wizard of Oz, The Three Musketeers, Next to Normal, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night, Time and A Raisin in the Sun, and The Magic Play. The curtain rises on September 20th, and the final show will be May 13th, 2018. Season packages and flex packs are now on sale. SU will host a Disability Day of Mourning tomorrow on campus. A candlelight vigil will be held on the quad to remember people with disabilities who have been murdered by a family or caregivers. The campus vigil is part of a nationwide event being held to honor Disability Day of Mourning. It starts at 1:30 p.m. and is open to everybody. And one of the most recognizable TV personalities in Syracuse area will not appear on your screen much longer. Carrie Lazarus is stepping down from her evening co-anchor position on Channel 9. She has been an icon in that chair for more than 30 years. Christy Cassiano will replace her alongside Rod Wood. Lazarus has a new contract that will allow her to have a more flexible schedule and work behind the camera a little bit more often. From all of us here at Citrus TV, we wish her the best.
At the edge of campus, there's a booth attendant who chooses which cars can and cannot drive through the university. But when it snows, the attendant's job entails more than just checking for car permits. Citrus TV's Megan Mystery spoke with that attendant to find out more.
Here's one of my fans.
So you're a star, baby.
This Syracuse University booth attendant is known not for her title, but from the work that's come to define her position.
Came to me to make a snowman, and I made it, and it was cute, and a lot of people liked it, and so it snowed again, and I would make another one. And
she's almost Jack Frost, considering her name is Jackie Snow.
Little Jackie of all trades.
Her scenes even involve different themes.
Someone gave me this little sweater, so that was like, we had an ugly Christmas sweater, thing like that. When Mardi Gras comes up, there's always beads, a spare arm, you never know. There's just pieces, parts of everything in here.
Snow tries to make snowmen scenes like these every day that weather permits. Last year, when she donated a kidney to her cousin, she even made a scene to showcase it. But when she was off work for her recovery, the snowmen still continued.
This is from when I gave my kidney. When I was in the hospital, someone had made one for me. My friend Heather and Melissa came and made one in my absence.
Friends that, like others, love Snow's work.
Here's a couple of my fans. There's certain people that know to look for him.
Her coworker even appreciates the snowy scenes.
This is my boothmate Stan, who has to put up with the fame and snowmen all the time.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the snowmen?
I love them. People stop by, they come to see them, they look forward to it,
Every winter for nearly a decade she's made them, leaving those on campus to say, let it snow. Megan Mystery, Citrus TV.
Well, if we do see snow again this winter, you can expect to see snowman scene at Jackie Snow's booth on the corner of College Place and Euclid.
Coming up, a deadly plane crash in California leaves 3 dead and 2 homes destroyed.
And President Trump prepares for his first big speech to Congress. Don't go anywhere.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to take care of you.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
President Trump is delivering his first address to Congress tonight.
Reports say Trump will lay out his plans for the upcoming budget. He reportedly wants to increase military spending by $54 billion and wants to pay for that by cutting many domestic programs.
His speech is Trump's first chance to present his ideas for the country. It is set to begin just after 9 p.m.
And President Trump putting water versus workers. He signed a new executive order today.
It requires the EPA to review Obama-era water regulations to make sure they're not hurting the economy. President Trump says that the new regulations were getting out of control.
EPA's so-called Waters of the United States rule is one of the worst examples of federal regulation, and it has truly run amok and is one of the rules most strongly opposed by farmers, ranchers, and agricultural workers all across our land. It's prohibiting them from being allowed to do what they're supposed to be doing. It's been a disaster. The Clean Waters Act says that the EPA can regulate navigable waters, meaning waters that truly affect interstate commerce. But a few years ago, the EPA decided that navigable waters can mean nearly every puddle or every ditch.
And like you just said, Obama's regulations are opposed by farmers who say they restrict the way they can use their land, but supporters say they reduce pollution and keep drinking water clean.
In other government news, a Supreme Court argument has sparked new conversation about social media.
On Monday, justices on the Supreme Court suggested the court would strike down a North Carolina law that regulates who can and cannot use social media sites.
Right now in North Carolina, registered sex offenders cannot use many websites where private information can be exchanged. This includes Facebook and Twitter.
And moving along with the transition of power, the U.S. officially has a new Commerce Secretary. Billionaire Wilbur Ross was sworn in this morning. Ross was confirmed by the Senate in a 72-27 vote yesterday. The Commerce Secretary promotes American business interests, including the potential renegotiation of NAFTA. Wilbur is known as the king of bankruptcy for his experience buying failing companies and reselling them for large profits.
Obama might be out of power, but he's not out of the spotlight. President Trump is blaming Obama for the town hall protests sweeping the nation. He's also blaming the former president for the recent information leaks. The president accused Obama and, quote, his people for causing the protests and leaks. Trump went on to say that he isn't bothered by these actions because, as he says, it's politics. So far, there is no evidence that Obama or his administration are behind the protests or leaks. And these people have been killed, and 3 people, have been killed, and 2 have been injured in a small plane crash in California.
The 5 people were on board the plane when it hit 2 Riverside homes. The block was evacuated, moving about 20 homes to a shelter. No one on the ground or inside the homes was injured.
The crash took place about half a mile away from the Riverside Municipal Airport. The National Transportation Safety Board is continuing its investigation.
Moving overseas, French police accidentally shooting 2 people during a speech by their president today.
Officials said the safety latch on the gun was turned off, and during a speech by President Hollande, the gun went off. Take a listen.
J'espère qu'il n'y a rien de grave.
You can hear Hollande say after the gunshot, saying, quote, I hope it's nothing serious.
The 2 victims are not seriously injured, thankfully. Police say they will investigate the shooting. A little farther south, some shocking news out of Libya. A new UNICEF report exposing what they say is the brutality children face while migrating to Italy.
It says children face sexual abuse, slavery, and violence in Libyan detention centers. A majority of the assaults are by uninformed men, smugglers, and sex traffickers. It says the children rarely report the assaults as they fear deportation.
UNICEF also reporting these centers have very little food and water.
And over to the Middle East, 9 families are being evicted from their homes in the West Bank settlement of Ofra. This comes as a result of the Supreme Court decision ruling that homes were built on private property. Dozens of settlers were protesting on rooftops as military and police arrived to evict the residents. Settler leaders are asking for peaceful cooperation.
And in South Korea, phones setting on fire isn't the only thing Samsung has to worry about. The company's leader has been officially charged with bribery. Jay Lee was charged as part of the same corruption scandal that impeached the president of South Korea. Lee allegedly promising $10 million to gain government support of a merger that would give him more power over the company. Samsung and Lee deny the charges, but Lee still faces a trial.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Today was the last day of February, is the last day of February, not over yet, a few hours left. But as of midnight, we have the third warmest February on record, very close to being the warmest February actually. Average temperature for this month was 32.8 degrees, definitely because the beginning of the month was a little colder than the end. And the warmest February ever, 1981, average of 33.7, so less than 1 degree away from beating the record. The conditions today, a lot of sun to the east of us, Syracuse right on that dividing line with clouds, and a lot of clouds to the west, so no surprise that Syracuse had a cloudy day, even though we had some sunny neighbors. Waking up tomorrow, 57 degrees, 8 a.m. There's going to be some scattered thunderstorms, so definitely a humid morning at 80% humidity. And as you head into the rest of the day, the scattered storms will be until the evening. Going to go up to 64 though, so that's the good news there. And what we can expect in March, average high of 42 degrees, average low of 26 for the month, but we were a little bit above average last year, and that can be expected this year. And looking ahead at our 5-day forecast, tomorrow thunderstorms. Thursday, it's going to be a high of 31, low of 21, and Friday all the way down to 13 degrees before climbing back up to 44 on Sunday.
And after the break, jewelry stores are being sued for sexual harassment.
And Rihanna gets an award, but not for her music. Stay tuned.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Executive engineer resigned today after being accused of sexual harassment. He was also accused of sexually harassing employees while working at Google. After an internal investigation, Uber's chief executive asked him to step down. This comes after multiple Uber employees have said the company's HR department has purposefully ignored sexual harassment claims. And Sterling Jewelers is being accused of harassment and discrimination against its female employees. There are nearly a decade of complaints from women employees. Some include women saying they were pressured into having sex for career achievements and that they are being paid less than men. The case is declared a class action with hundreds of case documents now publicly online. Sterling Jewelers is the company that owns Kay Jewelers and Jared.
And new tonight, an experimental gene therapy is turning blood cells into cancer killers, and scientists say it works. More than 1/3 of lymphoma patients showed no signs of the disease after the treatment. The study sponsor is hoping to win approval from the FDA. It will be called CAR T-cell therapy. This will be the nation's first approved gene therapy. And guess which country is getting its first Starbucks soon? Well, the one that started it all, Italy. The chain will open a store in Milan in 2018, with the CEO saying it wasn't ready to compete with Italian coffee until now. He says the location will be a premium operation, although he didn't give any details of what that means. It's set to be the largest in the world, more than 100 times the size of an average Starbucks. And you may know Rihanna for her songs, but the star has proven she reaches people beyond her music. Harvard University is awarding the pop star today with the Humanitarian of the Year for 2017. It recognizes the work Rihanna has done in her home country of Barbados, like building an oncology and nuclear medicine center to treat breast cancer. The singer has also established a scholarship that helps Caribbean students attend U.S. colleges.
And coming up in sports, Albany gave number 4 Syracuse women's lacrosse a run for its money yesterday, while number 20 Syracuse women's basketball picks up some accolades as the team gets set for a postseason run. We'll have all this and more when we come back. Stay tuned.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth
it. Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I had something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Syracuse women's lacrosse exploded out of the gate to start the season. Number 6 SU was 4-0 and feeling fine going into yesterday's matchup with Albany when the Great Danes put the Orange to the test. Let's take it to the Carrier Dome right now. Syracuse against the 2-1 Great Danes. SU 4-0 going into this one, and Nicole Levy getting things started with 2 minutes into this game. SU goes up 1-0 on her goal, but about 3 minutes later, off the assist from Emily Miser, Sarah Martin returns the favor, putting the Great Danes on the board when Riley Donahue, 7 minutes left to go, puts SU up 3. The Orange goes into the half up by 3 goals. But Albany comes charging back, tying it at 11 on that one from Kenzie Neal. And 3 minutes later, 4 minutes to go in the game, Dakota Savachev gives the Great Danes a 12-11 lead. But never fear, Nicole Levy is here, and she buries that into the back of the net, tying things with her 6th goal of the game, setting up Riley Donahue. 9 seconds left, the free position, the shot, and the score. Syracuse 13, Albany 12. The Orange takes that one by a nose.
Prep and rest and knowing that Albany's coming here to give you a dog fight, and they did. And they played very well today. Very aggressive, very physical, and forced us to get out of our game a little bit.
Keeping it in the Carrier Dome, Syracuse guards Brittany Sykes, Alexis Peterson, and Gabby Cooper were honored by the ACC today. Sykes and Peterson were both named first-team All-Conference and Cooper first-team All-Rookie. Sykes and Peterson have been human highlight reels in their final year on the Hill, collectively averaging 43 points per game, while Cooper has been playing the role of understudy pretty well. The freshman averages around 9 points per night, getting almost 30 minutes of play per game. And from the Dome to Tennedy Ice Pavilion, accolades just keep piling up for the Orange. The College Hockey Association just announced that Emily Costales and Savannah Rennie have received honors. Costales snagging Player of the Week for a 3-point outburst against Penn State on Friday, while Rennie scored Rookie of the Week for netting 2 goals against the Nittany Lions over the weekend. The duo will take the ice again in Buffalo for the CHA playoffs on Thursday after a first-round bye. And on to the NHL right now. The Rangers coming into a matchup with the Capitals in a little bit of an unexpected place. The Capitals just picked up a huge free agent defenseman, Kevin Shattenkirk, and Shattenkirk could not be happier about taking the ice against the Rangers tonight. He comes from the St. Louis Blues as the Capitals go all in on the final stretch of this season, trying to make that Stanley Cup push. And elsewhere in Central New York, the Buffalo Sabres try to snap a 3-game losing streak against the Nashville Predators.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. We're going to be right back with more after the break.
Looking for these? You drive Buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Well, Gilad, so what are we looking at wearing tomorrow?
Yeah, it's not going to be too cold, so if you're just wearing a light rain jacket, that'll be fine. But since the rain's going to be so on and off, carry an umbrella with you, even if you might not need it all the time, and maybe wear rain boots if it looks bad when you head out.
And I see that there's some snow in the forecast. How much are we looking at in that storm?
Yeah, that's not going to be too much, just some AM snow showers. Next week, though, however, the first full week of March, precipitation every day. Mostly rain, though, because it will be a little warmer, but it'll be wet.
All right, thanks, Gilad.
Right, thanks so much.
Coming up on OTN tonight, your full sports update with Orange Press Pass and a full hour of politics with 2 episodes of Talking Points.
And, well, we hope that everyone is having a great Mardi Gras. And with St. Patrick's Day coming up, that's all we have for today. But be sure to follow us online at CitrusTV.com. On behalf of everyone here, I'm Jackie Prager.
And I'm Nick Papantonis. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night.